Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.
Welcome back to AI Hub, everybody. I'm Larry, and as always, I'm super stoked to dive into the latest and greatest in artificial intelligence with you today.
Absolutely. And hi, everyone. I'm Amanda. I'll be breaking down today's topic so that it's crystal clear for everybody.
Awesome. Now, you might recall that crazy paper that came out of Stanford last year about AI agents.
Oh, yeah.
Living in a simulated world.
Yeah.
And forming relationships and even developing distinct personalities. It was mind-blowing.
Totally.
I remember I read it. I thought, wow, this is getting us closer to simulating entire societies. Well, that same team at Stanford has just released a new paper.
Oh, wow.
And they've kind of taken things to a whole new level.
So what are they doing differently now?
Well, now instead of just seeing how AI might behave in a simulated environment, we're looking at AI that can actually replicate real human behavior, with incredible accuracy. And it's opening up all sorts of possibilities for understanding ourselves and how we interact as a society.
That's super interesting. How are they measuring this accuracy?
They tested these AI agents, which are basically infused with the personalities of real people on something called the General Social Survey.
I've heard of that. Isn't that the one that's been going on for decades?
Yeah, it's like the gold standard for measuring social attitudes and behaviors.
So they're asking these AI agents the same questions they've been asking people for years. Exactly.
And get this, these AI agents, after being embedded with real personalities, were able to replicate responses on the GSS with 85% accuracy. That's even more accurate than people remembering their own answers 2 weeks later.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I know, right? To me, that's a huge deal because it shows just how deeply these AI agents are capturing the nuances of human personality.
It really is remarkable. That level of accuracy is basically unheard of in traditional social science research. It makes you wonder what kind of insights we could gain if we could simulate different social scenarios with this level of precision.
Exactly. I mean, imagine being able to test the impact of a new policy or a social change before actually implementing it in the real world. Let's say there's a proposed change to the tax system.
Yeah.
We could use this technology to simulate how people with different backgrounds, incomes, and opinions would react to the change.
That's a great example, Larry. It could allow policymakers to anticipate potential consequences, both positive and negative, and make more informed decisions.
Okay, so I know you're dying to know how they created these incredibly accurate AI agents.
Yeah.
It all boils down to this really fascinating interview process.
Okay, tell me more. What kind of interview are we talking about?
Well, it's not your typical interview.
Yeah.
They conducted 2-hour voice-to-voice interviews with real people. But the interviewer wasn't another person. It was an AI.
Wait, so the AI was interviewing people?
Yeah. And here's the key. The AI interviewer wasn't just reading off a script. It was actually adapting its questions based on the interviewee's responses in real time, just like a human would.
So it was a genuinely interactive conversation.
Exactly. And that's what makes this approach so powerful. Instead of just getting people to check boxes or choose from a limited set of options, they were able to have a true back-and-forth exchange, diving into their thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a much deeper way.
I can see why that would yield much richer data than a traditional survey. It's like getting a glimpse into someone's inner world.
Precisely. And all that rich data, all those stories, opinions, and individual quirks become the memory for the AI agent. It shapes how the AI behaves and interacts within the simulation, giving it a unique personality based on a real person's life experiences.
So instead of just programming an AI with a set of traits, they're basically giving it a preloaded life story based on a real person.
You could say that. And that's what sets this research apart from the previous Stanford paper, where the AI agents develop their personalities through interactions within the simulated world. Here, they're starting with a much richer foundation.
Okay, that makes sense. So they're building on what they learned before, but taking it further with this new approach.
And that 85% accuracy on the General Social Survey really highlights just how effective this approach is. But it's important to understand that they weren't just comparing this interview-based method to, like, random chance. They also tested AI agents that were built using more traditional methods.
Right. Things like demographics or personality types.
Exactly. They looked at agents based on simple demographics like age, gender, and location, as well as agents based on predefined personality types or personas.
And how did those methods stack up against the interview-based AI?
Well, they just couldn't compete. By capturing the complexity and nuances of individual human experiences, the interview-based approach proved to be far superior in predicting real-world behavior.
It seems like the more personalized the data, the more accurate the AI becomes.
Exactly. And they didn't just stop at the general social survey. They conducted further tests using different psychological assessments, like the Big Five Personality Inventory, which measures things like openness, conscientiousness, and extroversion. They even used behavioral economics games to see how the AI agents would make decisions in different scenarios.
So they were really trying to test it from all angles.
Yep.
And they got consistent results across all these different tests.
They did. It really speaks to the robustness of their findings.
Yeah.
But there's one experiment they did that really blew my mind. They decided to remove a significant portion of the interview transcript, like 80% of it, before creating the AI agent.
Oh, wow. So they were basically trying to see how much information they could strip away while still maintaining accuracy.
Exactly. And the results were still remarkably good. It really makes you wonder what core elements of personality are being captured in those interviews that allow for such accurate predictions. Even with so much information missing, it's like they're getting to the essence of who we are.
It's almost like there's a fundamental fingerprint of personality that can be extracted from our stories and experiences.
That's a fascinating way to put it. It definitely raises some interesting questions about the nature of identity and how we define ourselves.
For sure. And if AI can capture us this accurately already,
Right.
what does that mean for the future? It really does. Like, what does it mean about free will if AI can simulate us so accurately?
Whoa, now we're getting into some seriously deep philosophical territory.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're able to create these incredibly realistic simulations of human behavior, what does that tell us about consciousness? Or even the soul?
Yeah, those are some big questions. Honestly, I don't think we have all the answers yet, but this research is definitely pushing us to think more deeply about what it means to be human.
For sure. And I think we're just scratching the surface of what this technology could do.
Yeah.
Imagine training AI systems on these massive data sets of real human experiences.
Yeah.
Creating simulations to test out social policies, or even building virtual worlds where we can interact with AI versions of real people from history.
The possibilities are endless. Imagine using these simulations to, model the spread of ideas in a society, or test different approaches to conflict resolution, or even see how historical events might have played out differently. It could revolutionize how we think about history, sociology, even psychology.
It's like having a time machine for social science.
Totally.
We could run experiments that would be impossible to conduct in the real world, and all while learning more about ourselves and how we function as individuals and as a society.
Exactly. And let's not forget about all the practical applications, like urban planning. We could simulate different traffic patterns, housing developments, or public transportation systems to create more efficient, sustainable cities.
Oh, that's a great point. Or imagine using these simulations to train AI assistants that are way more empathetic and responsive to human needs. Instead of just giving us information or completing tasks, they could actually understand our emotions and provide genuine support.
The potential is huge. But of course, like with any powerful technology, we have to think about the ethical implications.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, how do we make sure these AI simulations are being used responsibly and don't end up reinforcing existing biases or inequalities?
Yeah, we need to be really careful about that. We need to ensure that the data used to create these simulations is diverse and representative of the population as a whole. Otherwise, we risk creating AI that perpetuates harmful stereotypes or discriminates against certain groups.
And what about the privacy issue? If these AI agents are based on real people, how do we protect their personal information? Make sure their identities aren't compromised.
That's such a critical point. We need to establish some really clear guidelines and safeguards to protect individual privacy in this new era of AI-powered simulations. And that's not just a technological challenge, it's a societal one.
It seems like the more powerful this technology becomes, the more important it is to have these open and honest conversations about its impact, both positive and negative. We need to be proactive in addressing these ethical concerns and ensuring that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
100% agree. We can't just focus on the technological advancements without thinking about the human implications. We need to involve ethicists, social scientists, policymakers, and the public in shaping the future of AI, and make sure it aligns with our values.
It's a lot to think about, but it's such an exciting time to be following the development of AI. It feels like we're on the verge of a major breakthrough in our understanding of human behavior and the potential to create a better future.
I think so too. It's a journey full of possibilities and challenges, and I'm super eager to see where it leads.
Me too. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the incredible potential of AI to not only replicate human behavior, but also to help us understand ourselves better and shape a more just and equitable world.
It really is. Things are changing so quickly. It's amazing to see what was once science fiction become reality.
Right. It really makes you think.
Yeah.
And it constantly challenges us to rethink like what AI can actually do and what its role in society is going to be.
For sure. And it's crucial that we keep having these conversations. We can't be afraid to ask the tough questions because ultimately the future of AI isn't predetermined. We're shaping it with the choices we make today.
Well said. I think this deep dive has given our listeners a lot to think about because it's not every day you get to explore the implications of AI simulating real human personalities with such accuracy.
It's been a great discussion, and I hope it's inspired our listeners to maybe learn a little bit more about this amazing field that's constantly evolving.
Me too. It feels like we're just at the beginning of something really big. And that's what makes it so exciting. So for everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible world of AI. It's been a fascinating journey exploring the potential of AI, not only to replicate human behavior, but also to understand ourselves better and maybe even create a better future. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.
Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.